Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Friday, the 8th of January, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at currencies and then the stock markets and some commodities. Remembering this is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute chart, giving me a long-term, medium-term, and short-term view of the market with the corresponding point and figure targets. We see quite a lot of green on the screen, so that's giving us an indication that markets are holding fairly steady. Looking at the dollar index, we have been sinking lower and lower all of the last year, and we are just seeing a little bit of respite short term where the dollar has got some recovery, but the trend is very much down in those medium and long term charts. That means that the euro has seen a little bit of a fall back as that dollar has strengthened. So we're just seeing a little bit of a turn around at the end of the week. For the dollar just strengthening, and sterling coming back through the 136 level just in that short-term bearish territory, but the long-term trend against the dollar is up. Against the euro, sterling has broken the 111 level, so it's starting to look a little bit stronger there as well, but the euro sterling rate has barely changed around that 110 level for a while. No sign of a trend. Bitcoin sitting at $38,500. Falling back a little bit, but still looking incredibly bullish. No stopping this chart at the moment. The S&P 500 index was up 1.5% yesterday, looking strong on all three time frames, and the Nasdaq also up, of course, looking stronger again. So markets finding some recovery there, and we're seeing the Dow also up 0.7%. The futures today, the S&P future up 0.2%. And the Nasdaq E-mini up 0.33%, suggests we are going higher to close the week. Been quite a week in the US, and it's interesting that markets have really held up. With everything that's happening in the world, markets are still rising. The VIX volatility falling back into bearish territory, had a little bit of a blip at the start of the week, but for the moment, markets are under control. It's the fear index is not showing any signs there. Looking at Europe, we've got the DAX up 0.75%. So it's looking stronger again, breaking that previous high in March last year now very decisively to end the week strongly. So that's very good news for the German market. The CAC 40 is also looking stronger, yet to make a new high, of course. And if we look at Japan, we're at 1.6%. That stronger dollar, weaker yen helping the Japanese market, pushing higher to multi-year highs. The Hang Seng was up 1.2%, and the Chinese market is up. It was down slightly, but this week is the breakout week for China, so looking very strong indeed there. The Sensex in India also looking strong as well. Gold sitting at 1886, so falling back, markets rising, giving a fall there, so short-term bearish, just poked its head above the cloud there on the lagging line, but back below. It's why I like to use the 3-day rule. So for the moment, gold is just struggling a little bit, and silver much the same thing, down 2%, but the long-term trends are still very much in place. Copper up 0.08%, so a little change there, but the trend is still very strong. Another strong week for copper. US 10-year yields, we flagged that this week, up another 1%. Did touch 1.1%, so really looking very strong indeed. The medium-term trend is bullish. We need to break that really around that 115 level over the coming months to be back into a long-term uptrend for bond yields, so that's looking quite likely. The energy mix, looking at Brent crude up 1% at 54.85, nudging, pushing higher there, so that's really holding on to the gains. WTI up 0.7%, so also pushing higher, holding that 51 level, which is quite key now, above $50. US nat gas has hovered all week around 260. We're sitting at 266, so we've been fairly flat there. And looking at coal, we're sitting at 67, 62. Found quite strong resistance around $70. Emissions were making new all-time highs, just nudging that €35 mark, so looking very strong indeed there. Big upside target, 48 euros there, and the short-term targets here on the 1 minute chart are nearly met. Gas markets have rebounded strongly with the cold snap we're seeing in Europe at the moment. NBP up 6%, TTF up 5%, and if we look at power markets, German power up another 1%, holding that €51 mark, and we've got good upside targets, so looking pretty strong there. And looking at Nordic power on the cow, we're up 1%, again just pushing higher. That's it for today. Until Monday, have a great weekend. Happy charting. See you then.